Dmitri Shostakovich, shattering the siege through music. Dmitri Shostakovich, a hero of the Russian people during one of the most difficult times of World War II, was an important Russian composer with a unique style of music, which was influenced by the horrors from his life. Through his music, triumphant, bitter, and dark, he was able to motivate and encourage the people of Russia to keep enduring through the trial of the siege of Leningrad. Amidst all the despair and atrocity of World War II, he had risked his life to bring joy and happiness to the people of his country as he defied the mandates of the oppressive Joseph Stalin. His music connected with the people because it portrayed the gamut of emotions with the Russian people: suffering, death, victory, joy. The foundation of Dmitri's love for music began when he was a child. The Shostakovich family welcomed Dmitri Dmitrovich Shostakovich on September 26, 1906, in St. Petersburg, later known as Leningrad. Given that his mother was a professional pianist, their family was constantly surrounded by music and literature, and their children were forced to take piano lessons. He did not begin taking lessons until he was 9 years old, which he despised at the time. When he was about 11, something stirred through his musical soul as he eagerly listened to his neighbors play the cello and piano, which had encouraged young Shostakovich. Dmitri had soon grown to love music. Inside his home, there was peace and contentment. Outside his home, his country faced a political upheaval as the Bolsheviks slaughtered Tsar Nicholas II and his family in their home, seizing control of the country and beginning the bloody reign of the Communist Party. It was during these uncertain times, filled with hunger, murder, and economic hardships, that Dmitri Shostakovich began his musical career. In 1919, at age 13, Dmitri began his studies as a director. Within 6 years, he composed his first symphony. By 1936, he was a renowned composer, famous for his opera Lady Macbeth of Zensk district, which had been running worldwide for 2 years. On January 28th, however, his career suffered a harsh setback when Joseph Stalin attended a performance of his Lady Macbeth of Zensk district. The conductor and the show were so bad, Stalin walked out before the end of the first act, calling it a muddle instead of music. Stalin used the horrible performance as a political tool, calling for a public ban on the arts, and using the same arts to further his own agenda. The ensuing political attack on Shostakovich by Stalin and the party left Shostakovich ostracized by the people of Russia. This time of his life was filled with both dismay and joy. Deemed an outcast by those who once publicly praised his work, as well as constantly fearing he would be next on Stalin's hit list, led him into a deep state of depression, constant suicidal thoughts, and isolation. However, it was also during this time his daughter Galina Dmitrievna Shostakovich was born. His love for his daughter and family kept Dmitri's urges to end his own life at bay and gave him reason to keep writing music. A year and a half later, Shostakovich would find redemption amongst the Russian people through the release of his Fifth Symphony. Dmitri's style of music is a blend of the keenly unique. It is a combination of many different composers, including Tchaikovsky, Mugorsky, Prokofiev, and Berg. Shostakovich's music is characterized by sharp contrasts, elements of the grotesque, and ambivalent tonality. He was also heavily influenced by Stravinsky and Mahler, evidenced in his many symphonies. All of the elements of his music were to bring excitement and curiosity, and to portray a story of nonfiction and realistic feelings. His compositions expressed the reality of the world.
I always try to make myself as widely understood as possible, and if I don't succeed, I consider it my own fault.
His music portrayed a government oppression and wars. It was a representation of what was happening in the world, rejoicing and triumph, pain and grief. The people of Leningrad related entirely to his music because of everything within it. The Fifth Symphony may have been a way of expressing his true feelings about the difficulties of artistic life in Russia at the time. On September 8, 1941, Germany invaded Russia, pushing all the way to the borders of Leningrad, where they laid siege to the city. The 872-day siege of Leningrad brought death and destruction to the downtrodden citizens of Leningrad. Starvation, disease, exposure to the elements, and death were rampant. Wallpaper paste made from potatoes and boiled leather were used as a source of food, as were zoo animals and the deceased. Cannibalism took root, and murder, as a source of sustenance, became commonplace. Those who survived did so under harsh weather conditions as well. During the winter, the ground was too frozen to bury the dead. Books and furniture became firewood for warmth and cooking. Constant bombing raids required boarded-up windows. Shostakovich's family was not immune to the struggle. During this bleak time, he composed his most important symphony yet, the Seventh Symphony, called the Leningrad Symphony. Shortly after the siege began, he declared over the radio,
"An hour ago, I finished the score of 2 movements of a large symphonic composition. If I succeed in carrying it off, if I manage to complete the 3rd and 4th movements, then perhaps I'll be able to call it my 7th Symphony. Why am I telling you this? So that the radio listeners who are listening to me now will know that life in our city is proceeding normally."
He finished the Leningrad Symphony on December 27, 1941. 9 months later, as despair overtook the people and they began to lose all hope, Shostakovich risked his life, defying the mandates of Stalin and the Communist Party. As he played the Leningrad Symphony over the airwaves for the people of Leningrad, that symphony struck a chord with the city of Leningrad, instilling renewed strength in life. It completely changed the morale of the people. It told the world that Leningrad would survive, that they were alive, and would triumph over their hardships.
Real music is always revolutionary, for it cements the ranks of the people. It arouses them and leads them onward.